Dante's Divine Comedy, read by David Miller. Thus I descended from the first circle to the second, which girds a smaller space, but greater agony to goad lament. There stands Minos, snarling, terrible. He examines each offender at the entrance, judges and dispatches as he encoils himself. I mean that the ill-begotten soul that stands before him, it confesses all, and that accomplished judge of sins decides what place in hell is for it, then coils his tail around himself to count how many circles down the soul must go. Always before him stands a crowd of them, going to judgment each in turn. They tell, they hear, and then they are hurled down. "O you who come to this abode of pain," said Minos when he saw me, pausing in the exercise of his high office, "beware how you come and whom you trust. Don't let the easy entrance fool you." And my leader to him, "Why all the shouting? Hinder not his destined journey. It is so willed where will and power are one. Ask no more." Now I hear the screams of agony. Now I have come to where a great wailing beats upon me. I reach a place, mute of all light, which bellows as the sea in a tempest tossed by conflicting winds. The hellish squall, which never rests, sweeps spirits in its headlong rush, tormenting, whirls and strikes them, caught in that path of violence, by shriek, weep, and lament. Then, how they curse the power of God! I understood that to such torment the carnal sinners are condemned, they who make reason subject to desire. As, in cold winter, the wings of starlings bear them up in wide, dense flocks, so does that blast propel the wicked spirits. Here and there, down and up, it drives them. Never are they comforted by hope of rest or even lesser punishment. Just as cranes chant their mournful songs, making a long line in the air, thus I saw approach, heaving plaintive sighs, shades lifted on that turbulence, so that I said, "Master, who are these whom the black air lashes?" "The first of them, about whom you would hear," then he replied, "was empress over many tongues. She was so given to the vice of lechery, she made lust licit in her law, to take away the blame she had incurred. She is Semiramis, of whom we read that she, once Ninas's wife, succeeded him. She lay sway in the land the Sultan rules. Here is she who broke faith with the ashes of Sychius and slew herself for love. The next is wanton Cleopatra. See Helen, for whose sake so many years of ill rolled past. And see the great Achilles, who battled at last with love. See Paris, Tristan, and he showed me more than 1,000 shades, naming, as he pointed, whom love had parted from their life. When I heard my teacher name the ladies and the knights of old, pity came over me, and I almost lost my senses. I began, "Poet, gladly would I speak with these two that move together and seem to be so light upon the wind." And he, "Once they are nearer, you will see. If you entreat them by love that leads them, they will come." As soon as the wind had bent them to us, I raised my voice. "O wearied souls, if it is not forbidden, come, speak with us." As doves, summoned by desire, their wings outstretched and motionless, move on the air. Borne by will to the sweet nest, so did these leave the troop where Dido is, coming to us through the malignant air. Such force had my affectionate call. O living creature, gracious and kind, that come through somber air to visit us, who stained the world with blood. If the King of the universe were our friend, we would pray that he might give you peace, since you show pity for our grievous plight. We long to hear and speak of that which you desire to speak and know. Here, while the wind has calmed, on that shore where the river Po, with all its tributaries, slows to peaceful flow, there I was born. Love, quick to kindle in the gentle heart, seized this man with the fair form taken from me. The way of it afflicts me still. Love, which absolves no one beloved from loving, seized me so strongly with his charm that, as you see, it has not left me yet. Love brought us to one death. Cain awaits for him who quenched our lives. These words were born from them to us, and when I heard, too, those afflicted souls, I bowed my head and held it low until at last the poet said, "What are your thoughts?" In answer I replied, Oh, how many sweet thoughts, what great desire, have brought them to this woeful pass. Then I turned to them to speak, and I began. Francesca, your torments make me weep for grief and pity, but tell me, in that season of sweet sighs, how and by what signs did love acquaint you with your hesitant desires? And she to me, there is no greater sorrow than to recall our time of joy in wretchedness. In this your teacher knows. But if you feel such longing to know the first root of our love, I shall tell as one who weeps in telling. One day, to pass the time in pleasure, we read of Lancelot. How love enthralled him. We were alone, without the least misgiving. More than once that reading made our eyes meet and drained the color from our faces. Still, it was a single instant that overcame us, when we read how the longed-for smile was kissed by so renowned a lover. This man, who never shall be parted from me, all trembling, kissed me on my mouth. Egileato was the book, and he that wrote it. That day we read in it no further. While the one spirit said this, the other wept, so that for pity I swooned as if in death, and down I fell, as a dead body falls.